Hello and welcome to Wolfman Gaming. This is my Scorn Platinum Trophy walkthrough and this is Act 4. And before we get into this level, I want to give out my usual little warning that this contains graphic depictions of violence and viewer discretion is advised. Don't say I didn't warn you. And the very first enemy we're going to encounter here is one of those danglers once again. So just make sure to stay out of his awareness distance is probably not a correct term, but you realize what I mean. And just line up your shot, wait for an opportune moment and shoot it out of the ceiling. And the very first corridor, the one we just ran through, when you get into that, we make a right to get over here. If you instead head over to the left, you will come to a dead end, but on the right hand side, there will be, I think it's either an ammo station or a first aid station. I forgot about it when I recorded this, and I'm very sorry about that, but I figured I'd tell you about it now, at least. And in Act 3, we went out our way to stay out of the enemy's way, so to speak. And in this level, we will not be able to do that to such an extent as we did in the previous level. Because you saw the big colossus in the middle, and when I went up and pulled that lever, he was hurt because this hatch opened up and tore up his skin, so he roars and summons in enemies. And we are gonna do that a total of 3 times throughout this level. So now that we have pulled that lever and sent up the first terminal, just run through this corridor. A few enemies will spawn in behind you, but just ignore them. They will, just as the enemies in level 3, they will just go away. If you stay out of their way, they will go away quite quickly. And they will also especially not follow you in here. Over here there is an aid station should you need it, and here we open up the second hatch. And this is quite gnarly. And the beast roars once again. And how this level works, by the way, I love the design of this monster. The design of that monster to me doesn't feel as much Geiger-esque as it feels more like, I think he was a Polish artist called Beksinski was his last name. His first name I'm not sure how to pronounce, but I think it's like Sedzislav Beksinski. I apologize if I absolutely butchered the pronunciation of that. But I did as best as I can. And in the previous video I talked about the fact that I think the enemies in this game are not the enemy. You are. Because that big colossus in the middle, by the way, here is our new weapon, the shotgun. And the shotgun is quite devastating. This will take down a brute in 2 shots if you shoot them at point blank range. If you shoot them at a distance, you will use 3. So make sure to let them come close. There's no reason to not let them come close, because as I said in the previous episode, all they can do is headbutt you. They don't have any distance attacks, just melee. So here I will show you exactly what I mean. Because there's a brute at the end of this corridor. So we just line up our shot, let him come really close, and we shoot him twice and down he goes. And make sure to reload the gun afterwards. Always keeps your weapons loaded, people. And I think this is also an elevator ride I kept in. Yes, switch over to the pistol. before you go up that elevator, because there are 2 chickens up here. One right there and one over to the right. So be quick and try to aim better than I did. And now we're gonna go into more fighting. So make sure to load up both your pistol and your shotgun. Because now we will take on a brute. We will take on, I think it's 2 workers and a chicken, or if it's a worker and 2 chickens. Here is the brute, and I like to lure him out into the corridor, which I think might be a mistake. What you actually could do is shoot him inside this room. It's probably a better course of action. But either way, you want to bait him so he gets close, but I shoot him so he falls down in the middle of this corridor, and that makes this harder than it needs to be. Because now his corpse acts like a riot shield for my bullets. Which isn't a great thing. Because it makes this a lot harder than it has to be. I got a little bit stressed, but I make the mistakes so you don't have to repeat them. And this is the only time I take a bit of a hiding in this game. And finally I got pissed, because I thought I run out of bullets, so I just went over to my jackhammer and managed to perform. This happens very rarely. I don't know what triggers it, if you manage to clock them straight in the face, but that is a glory kill. That will happen once in a great while when you take down a chicken or a worker. I don't think there's a glory kill animation for the brutes. And I would highly recommend that you don't try it out, because brutes you always want to keep at a distance. Or at least a distance where they cannot headbutt you, because they hurt when they hit. But what I was gonna say before, in Act 3 I talked about that you are the enemy, you are the hostile being in this game, and these enemies, or these workers, chickens and brutes, they just want to go on their merry way, keep to themselves and not fight anybody. And I think this level and how it is designed further supports my theory. Because the big colossus in the middle, he just looks at you. He does not attack you. You will not have to fight him. And let's all be thankful for that. Because judging by his size, I think he could sponge up quite a few bullets. But he summons in enemies, and the enemies that he summons in will not let up. You will have to kill them, I think. You may be able to run away from them, but they have a tendency to spawn in your way, so you are more or less forced to engage with them. And that is how that plays into my theory, is because you are attacking him. You are slashing up his sides by opening those hatches. He roars and summons in the workers as a defense mechanism against you laying pain into him. So that is why, that is a continuation of my theory on why the enemies in this game aren't really enemies. They're just defending themselves from an intruder and an aggressive or aggressor that is you. And if you support or don't support my theory, please let me know in the comments. And if you have another theory on how it works, please let me know. I enjoy all the comments I get on my videos. I think it's really fun when people drop one. And also here, when you ride this elevator up, stand still when you get up to the floor above you, because there is a worker just behind you. But if you just stand still, pivot in place, he will just head out of there. And over here we have a brute, and I am actually gonna take him down. And as I said, it takes 6 pistol bullets to make sure that every bullet connects. You don't want to waste the bullets firing into thin air with those guys. And 6 bullets is what your pistol will hold, so... And that is also a reason why it's so vital that every bullet actually connects, because you don't want to run away and reload your gun while a pissed off hurt brute is chasing you. But now we're gonna head up one more floor. Don't engage or don't interact with that aid station yet. We're gonna first do what we're gonna have to do up here. Which, first thing we're gonna do is open the third hatch and hurt this docile colossus once again. Like so. Damn, that design is so cool. Haunting yet beautiful. And what you want to do now is continue over here to the left. There is a chicken spawning in here, by the way, so feel free to take that out. You could hear it just behind me. I'm gonna ignore it. Go over to this ammo station, because after you've interacted with this ammo station, 2 brutes will spawn in. One behind you and one in front of you. So I'm just gonna run because there is a brute moving behind me. I'm gonna shoot this one once just to stagger him. There's the chicken. We just ignore him and run past him. If you want to, you can take out that chicken before you open the hatch to hurt the creature. See if you can get him spawn in and kill him so he will not be in your way. I may have gotten a little bit lucky getting past him, because sometimes you can get clipped on enemies, and if you get stuck on that chicken, those 2 brutes can spell trouble quite quickly. But when you get down here, the first thing we're gonna face is a brute, so we take him on. And the Colossus at this point, he is pissed. He is really pissed, so he's pulling out all the stops. Or all the stops he has to pull out, which isn't an enormous amount, but there will be a few enemies here. First we have brute, we have 2 workers, and I think there is also a chicken. Yes, chicken in the background. And that is why I recommend that you wait with using that aid station, in case you take some damage here. And as you saw, the chicken spat on the worker, which probably wasn't his intention, like, I spit on your corpse. No, the riot shield works both ways. Which is a good thing for us. And now that all 3 hatches are open, first we're gonna reload our guns and we're gonna head in and we're gonna send up display 2 and 3. Or display 3 actually. No, 2 and 3. Yes. That was just me that remembered it wrong. And this level, when I played this game the first time, this video is only around 17 minutes, 18 minutes. On my first playthrough, I think this level took me around an hour and a half in total, I think. Just because this game, as you probably know at this point, can be very disorienting. A lot of the corridors look very similar to each other. And since this game doesn't do any hand-holding, it doesn't believe in hand-holding of any sort, it's really easy to get lost. And I think it was after I pulled the 3rd lever up there with the 2 brutes, when I came down, that corridor I went in to the right to pull on send up the 2nd display, I couldn't find that corridor. I was completely lost. I ran back and forth throughout this entire level, God knows how many times, before I just stumbled across like, oh, here is the path I was supposed to go. But either way, now that we have sent up all 3 terminals, we're gonna head up to, let's call it the hub. And we're gonna solve this game's next puzzle. So we're gonna head down this corridor and down the little walkway over to the triple terminal puzzle. And here you control that little white dot, and we want to get that into the middle of this. And all 3 displays have different layouts, but the white dot will follow, will move in all 3. As you can see, this puzzle is quite self-explanatory. And it's also one of the easier ones, I think. We go down so. And what happens now is that, what I think happens is that this starts moving up. Or it does start moving up. But Colossus is in the way. So that poor non-hostile creature was brutally slaughtered by our elevator ride. Quite a gruesome end to a very passive creature. But all that remains to do in this level now is we are gonna go over to a tram station and take the tram over to the final level of the game. And before we can start up this tram, our good old freeloading passenger, the Parasite, makes his presence known, and he is slowly taking over our body. Quite gruesome. But as soon as he is done with his little attack, all you have to do is go over to these controls, activate the tram, and we will head over to the final level of the game, and I will see you there. So I want to thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again in my next video. So until next time, this is the Wolfman signing off.